Careful what you say or you'll get tickled.
All right. We are back. We are on a different night, a different time. We're actually earlier than an hour earlier. That's because we didn't want to jump on somebody else's show there.
Yeah.
Overlap a little bit. But tonight we're going to talk about a EVP challenge that 2 to 3 of us had going for the last 3 years or 4 years. 4 years, actually. Yeah. Holy crap. Hey, Robert. Tim Vickers is in the house too. Wow, look at that. Double duty.
Double duty.
Double duty. So this challenge came up. This was actually Tim's idea that we're going to talk about tonight. It started with Tim, and we were at, oh, my dogs are going crazy. I don't know. I think they know when I'm doing a show. Like as soon as we come on live, they're like, oh, let's screw up his show. Oh. But anyway, so it was 4 years ago, a little over 4 years ago, I think. Like 4 years and like 2 months or something. Tim was out visiting here in Philly, and we went to a conference, a ghost conference together, hung out there for a while. Hey, Russ. Hey, Melissa. And then we had plans to hit the White Hill Mansion, which is in Fieldsboro, New Jersey. And we were going to go there for an overnight. We were staying overnight. And we had Rob Palmer, who is also known as the well-known skeptic. And then we had Chuck Sanders with us, a friend of ours. They were out with us for the most of the night and hung out. We set up cameras. We did the whole ghost hunting thing to try to replicate everything ghost hunters do. And we were like, this is really cool. And then I don't know exactly how it came to be, but Tim came up with this idea of let's hide an object and see if we can find it via EVPs. White Hill Mansion is known, like so many of the stories have to do with intelligent responses. So people do either ghost box sessions or EVP sessions, and they claim that they get intelligent responses. They ask specific questions, they get specific answers. So based on that idea, we were like, well, let's get the I forget what her title was. She was in charge of the White Hill. Her name was Loretta, and we had her go into the mansion without us and then walk around and talk to the spirits that are there and tell them, hey, you know what? I had this object. This is what it's called. This is where I'm going to hide it. And we all waited outside. There was a trailer across the parking lot that we actually waited in. Yeah. And jump in with any corrections, Tim.
Mm-hmm. So far, so good.
Okay, cool. So we did that. We waited. I don't remember how long, maybe like 20 minutes, half hour. But she went through, she came back and said, okay, it's done. It's hidden. So the rest of the night, we did several EVP sessions, short ones, nothing grand, no, crazy stuff. But we did some EVP sessions, and I'm going to play, if you don't mind, I'm going to play one of them here. And I think it's about 2 minutes long. So just listen in and it'll give you an idea of what we were doing there. This is the first time we were doing it. So let me see, share audio, share the screen. There it is. And you can hear what we did. It is, what's today's date? It's May 19th, 2018. We are at the White Hill Mansion conducting an experiment, EVP session style experiment, where Loretta has hidden a
target object, which is Spooky the ghost, somewhere in this house. And the idea is we're going to ask questions. Tim Vickers is going to ask questions and see if we can locate the item by the ghosts, if they're here, if they exist, which I don't. Telling us where it is. And Loretta had specific instructions to take the object by herself. She was in here. The rest of us were all in the trailer across the parking lot. She hid the item somewhere in this mansion. We have no idea where. And she spoke out loud, telling whatever's here where she's putting it. So hopefully, if there's something here, they will be able to guide us to the object. That's the idea of this. Okay, so
That's what we're hoping for.
that's what we're hoping for. So
Which will be really good if they do.
it would be really cool.
But I'm not putting any money on it. Kenny number 2.
So if there's I'm just pausing right there. The whisper that you heard, that was Chuck Sanders saying Kenny number 2. So it wasn't an EVP, it wasn't a ghost, anything. I just want to make that clear.
Damn it.
Anything here that I heard Loretta?
Yes.
Yes. Announce where she hid that ghost. Would you please come and speak to where she hid the item? Even if you could give us a general, we'll start with a general location.
Floors. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, what floor?
What floor? You just heard us name the item. If you could tell us the name of the item and where it's at, because we don't know. We'd like to be able to find it tonight. Just in case that's too hard, maybe we could do we'll go to the floor. If you could give us the name or the location of the floor, we can go to the floor and go from there. All right.
Good.
Yeah.
Ending this session.
All right. So that was that. And we went through the rest of the night and did it on every floor. I have 2 other recordings. They're basically the same thing, just different floor. And we didn't have any results that night. We didn't find the object. And then it was a couple of weeks later that after a few weeks, we went through and refined it, and we actually went rules. And I reached out to Jim Underdown, who is the director of it was at the time it was the IIG, the Independent Investigations Group. Now it's the CFIIG, and they're the ones that had, at the time it was a $100,000 prize. Now it's a $250,000 prize. So I reached out to him just to get ideas about rules, how to go about rules and making sure this was fair to everyone. People that wanted to do this challenge, to find an object, and then fair to us so that we weren't just giving away anything. And then, of course, to keep the mansion safe. That was our priority.
Yeah.
And then we also, it grew over time. After I consulted a few people, it was between me, Tim, we had Jim Underdown, then we had Ben Rafford kicked in, I think $100, and then because we offered a $300 prize, and that was us that was doing it, and then these other guys jumped in, and even White Hill Mansion themselves kicked in some money, so it went up to a $500 prize for people to try to find an object that later on. So basically, I don't know if I'm skipping around here, but basically what happened was, to set it up, I went out, I got an object, and I went over to the White Hill Mansion. I got permission to go in by myself. They gave me all day, and I went in. I literally took in several boxes, and so from my car, so they couldn't even if they were looking from the trailer, which is across a parking lot, even if they looking at me or watching me, they couldn't figure out what I was bringing in. So I brought in a whole bunch of stuff. Then I walked around. I basically walked every floor, every room, literally every room, even closets, and spoke out loud saying what the object was, where I'm going to hide it, where exactly it's going to be, and then the purpose of why we're there. And if anyone comes asking for a hidden object, to please tell them where it is so that they can find it and then, win this prize. And it would open it up to us coming in, because obviously that would lead to some more desperately needed research, because if they could actually find it, that would be really impressive, at least to me.
Me too.
Yeah. So we went about that. We have rules that we put out, basic rules, and I can go over them if you guys want to. We can go over them later or as we go. And then it went on for 4 years, and we had
4 years.
4 years.
4 years.
4 long years. So I'm going to stop right there, because there's more to talk about, but I don't want to dominate the time here. So I'm going to pass it off to I'll go with Tim to add anything else since he was there, and then we'll swing around to Dave.
I have always liked the idea of that. I think it's just a pretty clear-cut test. I don't know if you want to call it an experiment, or I like the idea of the challenge. And that's if basically, if you're making claims that a place is so haunted that you're getting intelligent communication, then why not give it a shot and see if it's possible? I guess it doesn't rule out anything because nobody got anything, but it certainly doesn't support the claim that there are intelligent conversations going on there. Right. It was just an idea just to test it. I had tried that before, just as like a hidden object challenge, I think, in another place. Didn't work. I really wish it would have worked. I really wish it would have worked.
Me too. I mean, I was disappointed.
Yeah, I really would have enjoyed listening to a whole clip of a ghost guiding the paranormal investigators to the hidden object and finding it.
No, I said left, asshole.
It's like a freaking ghost Google map.
But I think it's pretty simple. I like the concept of it just because, again, like I'm not trained in, like I'm not a scientist. I don't have a degree in any hard science. But I like the concept of coming up with ways to test a claim and making it public so people can listen to it and refine it if they wish and want to try it somewhere else. And I think this is a pretty easy one. Is it perfect? Probably not. I'm sure it's not, but it's something anybody that listens to this can go somewhere and do it themselves to see if, if they can have an EVP conversation that will lead them to a hidden object with a ghost.
Yeah. Dave?
It's a great idea. It was simple. People should be able to do it. As far as I remember, the rules you had were not very complicated, easy to follow. Little disappointed in the number of people that you said that tried it, attempted it. Yeah. Sure, we'll get into that. But I'm really surprised nobody else tried. I think one of the things that I think, Tim, did you say it doesn't support the claim of an intelligent haunting there? Or
I said it does or it does not. Like it neither one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because if you look at how many people tried,
yeah,
that might be but we'll talk about that. I mean, I think it's a good idea. I like it. Obviously, there's ways I can suggest to improve it for the next time around. Right. But for the most part, it's a cool idea. I guess I'm really disappointed that you didn't have more people try it.
It was free. It didn't cost. It didn't cost.
And that's. I mean,
did you listen to any of the recordings people thought that were intelligent there? Because they're claiming that they're having intelligent interactions. Did you review any of those to see if it truly was at all intelligent or leaning towards that?
So I did. I listened to any that were available, and there were only a few. And I'll explain why in a second. But to me, no, they didn't sound intelligent at all. That was the claim that they, again, they asked a specific question, they got a specific answer to them. And from my perspective, I felt it was more of a primed response. Like they were ready to hear something specific and they heard it in the white noise or the static. even the ones that they claim said something specific. I've made it a habit, especially after all the stuff that we've done, is not look at the screen. Let's play it. Let me look down here and just wait, and I'll listen to it. And I don't hear anything. And I expect an intelligent response that is considered Class A. I'm sorry. I tried to make it without laughing.
Class A, Class Z.
I want to hear it like we are speaking to each other now. That's what I expect to hear when someone says it's a very clear, crystal clear response. That's what I expect to hear, and that's not what I was hearing. Unfortunately, most of the claims were based on ghost box sessions that were not recorded. They were just told. We were told as the audience. I asked this question, and it said this, and that's directly in response to my question. And it's like, no. I mean, it may appear that way, but was it actually in response? I can't say. I wasn't there, and I don't have anything to review, so I don't know.
I don't have my shirt on.
We need Dave's inspired table. But yeah, it's not. It wasn't anything good. Most of it was based off of reports. And that's again, this was, and we know this. This was a simple experiment or a challenge. Not really an experiment. I mean, borderline. It was a simple thing. It was an informal experiment. Let's try and fine tune it as best we can and just put it out there and see what happens. And as Tim mentioned, it was free to do. And there's tons of ghost hunters. There's groups. They have events where ghost hunters come out. There were at least two. I don't know why the third one came up. There were two national ghost hunting days that I attended there. And because I attended, they made me talk about it, which I wasn't, I didn't have any problem with, but I spoke in front of the entire group and said, hey, this is what we have going here. It's free. All you have to do is find the object. And I mean, I had the rules with me. I had printouts of the rules, which are not bad. They're not bad at all, I think.
Right.
And nobody took me up on it. Nobody took us up on this challenge. We had two results. Two people that we had 1.5. Let me put it that way. So one of the rules, let's see. The first rule is you can only participate if you're legally allowed in the house, in the mansion. I mean, that should be obvious, but you got to put it in there because it's one of them places that people do break into. So the second rule was participants must submit an original, unedited, and continuous video, which meaning no breaks in the video, which includes the following. And it had an introduction of all the team members there, as well as any guests at the location. So everyone that was present, they just did a short introduction. My name is this. That's all you had to do. The make and model of all equipment being used to produce the EVPs, and any modifications to those devices that they might have done. And this was just to keep a record of what equipment they were using, so we could, recreate it later if we needed to. Conducting the EVP session in its entirety. So the entire session, we want it just to see what kind of questions were being asked, and reactions to them, how they interpreted it. We wanted responses of any entities from either playback of audio device or ghost spirit box recorded on the video to be submitted. So you couldn't just give us a separate file. We wanted to hear it on the video. So I had asked anyone that asked me about it, I told them just keep the video camera close to the recorder, in the same place. Then confirmation to the camera of what the team believes the response stated, as in we hear blank, blank, blank. We hear this. It's telling us this. And then finally, the team declaring what they found, like holding the object up and saying, this is what we found. Final answer. There you go. So I think that's it for the rules for the video itself. There were other clarifying rules too, but I mean, that's That's about it. So out of the 2 or 1.5 participants that we had, the first participant that submitted a video submitted like 7 videos, and it was all from one session broken up, and 2 or 3 of the videos were corrupted. And then they tried to tell me that one of the corrupted videos said, gave me an answer, or gave them an answer, which they told me. And I said, well, unfortunately, that doesn't fall in line with what I requested. And I said, I can't do it.
Right?
No.
Okay.
No,
Well, did they find it? Did they turn it
They
in?
did not find it. They didn't find the object. And then the second team that tried just sent me an email saying, hey, we saw your challenge. We think it's this. And
What?
I was like, well, did you see the video? Did you see the rules? They're like, yeah, we think it's this. I said, well,
okay.
did you read rule number 2? And they're like, yeah, it's this. I'm like, all right, I think we're done here. You're not getting it. So that was it. 1.5 tries. So technically 2 tries. So
for $500, I would have gone back anytime I was there and gave it a shot for $500.
Right.
Sure. Why not?
I mean, it costs nothing. You're there. You're doing EVPs. Just do it. It would have been
it was
good.
open. You didn't actually have to rent out the place. I mean, it was a little kind of helping out the White Hill, because if groups wanted to try to challenge, they usually reserve it for a night, but you didn't have to. If you were there during one of their events or just a daytime tour, you could do it. It was open to that. So you could literally go there and pay a couple dollars. Hey, Karen. And then as you're walking through, take a video, show us what, you're doing, ask questions, and see if you can find it. It didn't cost you anything, but nobody wanted to do it. And
well,
you know what?
Shocking, actually.
I don't get why nobody wanted to try it. Is it because let's be honest? Is it because it was set up by a skeptic? They're like, "Fuck it, I ain't gonna try that anyway."
Well, my question: I wonder how many people tried it but never submitted anything.
Right.
Well, that's true. That's what you don't.
That's true. Yeah, that's the numbers I don't have, because I just didn't get. And they had like 2 or 3 conferences, outdoor conferences that I set up a booth at, and I had like everything hanging up. I had brochures, flyers that I handed out and said, hey, you're here. They're doing tours every half hour. You can try it. If you if you walk outside with this object and say, here it is, I'm going to run to the ATM and hand you $500 cash. I don't see where do you lose out on that? You're already going in. But again, this was, it was a simple challenge, and I don't know, Dave, if it had anything to do with, because I'm the one promoting it. It shouldn't. If anything, I get it. Maybe they think I'm trying to rig it or something. I don't know where. The rules were clear. I worked not only with the people.
This is why.
Go ahead.
So you can't rig it.
That's right. Why don't you talk about that?
So in this envelope that I have a very famous, and I get a lot of money for this signature. It's the context. Jeez. Is
content.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I'm already having too much.
That's that coffee.
Oh God, it's like 7:00 over here too.
I think you have tomorrow off.
I do. It's great. So in here is the contents and what it is. And so this is a pretty common seal. It's how I've seen law enforcement do it. Is they right along the edge of where this meets, he signs his name, so that if it's tampered with or broken, that it's almost impossible to get everything back without you seeing some type of damage done to the ink and the paper. Plus, it is taped over, and his warning to keep safe.
I put the tape over that too to make sure, because if you try to take the tape off, you're not only going to see the peeling of the tape, but that's going to rip off.
Also, which is really good, is the documented date that it was stamped and mailed.
Right.
So for exact reasons like what you were saying, Dave, there is the answer to it that is sealed. So if somebody really believes that they had it and are questioning Kenny's motives, or if Kenny was being, or Kenny or I, or anybody else that was part of it is being a little dubious, that we did in fact have the contents of what it is and where it's at, so that they could see it at any time unopened.
So they had to find the object, they had to video record, and they had to submit the entire video, and you had to hear the voice tell them what it was and where it was to count?
That's what we were looking for.
Okay.
Because it was an EVP challenge. So I wanted to hear something telling them. I mean, we might not have heard what they heard, which is usually the case. But I wanted to hear something. And if they interpret it as something different, but it still led to the hidden object, that to me, that's still something curious. And like, what happened here? How did this happen? Let me find out. But there's a copy of the envelope. So Tim has one envelope with all the contents, and the exact same contents set up in the same way is with Dawn, who is the director of the White Hill Mansion. So she has a copy too. And that was, again, another safeguard so that I couldn't cheat. You know, I wanted people to understand that I'm not out to, one, cheat at all, because now I'm held accountable. I got two people, like Tim. Tim is a friend and colleague, but I would still expect him to call me out if I did something wrong. Right. And I also have the person in charge of the location that we're doing it, who is still a friend, but they are running this historic site. And if I cheat it, that would look bad on them.
I don't know what it is or where it was at. I still don't. I'm still waiting for the reveal of what it is and where it was at. I've had this envelope in a drawer in a filing cabinet for 4 years. And like it's my most accomplished feat not to open it, is just to take a peek. But
so I want to real quick just touch on some of the other rules so you understand. There's 10 main rules. We've already done 2 of them. Rule number 3 was let me put my glasses on so I can read this. That's a possibility. Responses leading to the target object must be by electronic voice phenomenon, EVP, either from a recording device, digital or analog, used during the recording session, or a ghost spirit box. So they could actually, if they wanted to, if they caught the EVP on a recorder and then had to replay it, they just replay it to the camera. But as long as it was an uncut video. And that was important to me because I didn't want cuts in the video because I'm always worried about editing or some other digital tricks. Number 4 was the responses must state where the object is, where it's located, be clearly audible on the video. All right. So I wanted it to be clearly audible. And then I recommend keeping the video camera close to the speaker of the device, broadcasting the EVP. Accidentally discovering the hidden target object didn't count. Also, if it was discovered by renovations or repairs, for some reason, if somehow that led to, hey, this doesn't belong here, I think it's the hidden object, it didn't count. The target object and its location will be documented, photographed, copies and written description, and photographs will be contained in a sealed tamper-proof envelope, blah, blah, blah. Possession of senior members of the Friends of White Hill Mansion, myself, and Tim Vickers. The challenge is open to anyone who wants to try and does not have to be during a ghost hunt. The mansion hosts various events. So that's just telling you, any kind of event, you can go. Teams can submit 1 video per visit. Additional videos may be submitted on other visits, 1 per visit, to a maximum of 5. And that's just because I was hopeful that we would get swamped with recordings. And I would be like, oh my God, I need to put a limit on this. The target object and its location may be changed periodically. The same procedure procedure for hiding the original target object will be repeated. When this is done, an announcement will be made on social media. Submission limits will be reset at this time, meaning teams may submit another further 5 attempts. A copy of the submitted materials is retained for everyone, and then have fun. And it talks about all entries must be the result of all entries that I'm not talking like them now. All entries that come as a result of trespassing or causes damage to the White Hill Mansion property or grounds disqualifies the individual and their entire team from the challenge forever.
Fair enough.
Made it serious. So there you go. Those are the rules. And I mean, it had like a information sheet just so you can sign up. You put your information and then submit the video. And then we review it and say, oh, cool. All right. But I didn't even get that from the teams, which is sad. But I mean, why do we think there wasn't such a surge of people wanting to win this or wanting to try it? I don't know. There was a video out there. There was a video on their website, on the White Hill Mansion website, under the paranormal section. So it was being promoted. Every event that I attended, they talked about it. So it was there. And I saw somebody mention that maybe they just knew they would fail and not attempt the challenge. And that would be depressing. That would really be kind of depressing, because these people, if these groups are going in there and they really think that they are communicating with other entities, then why would that change? Why would that belief change just because there's a challenge to it? And it's not even really a challenge to their claim so much as it, hey, just show me and you get money. I don't know. Thoughts?
I don't know. But I would do it all the time. Like, I really would have done it. I mean, if I was going to go and I was going to do the traditional, like I could see back in the day when we were ghost hunting and all that stuff, I have no doubt for nothing, we would have jumped all over it and just tried. Tried. If we wouldn't have gotten anything, we probably wouldn't have said anything, and just left it at that. And I don't know at the beginning if officially to claim the prize you had to actually sign up for it. Maybe that's something to think about in the future, is to so that we could actually have a count of people that tried. You can sign up. If you get nothing, you don't have to report back that you get. Just something like I certainly for $500 would have tried it over and over. Yeah.
I mean, that's a good chunk of money. That's that's your next piece of ghost hunting equipment.
The better EVP recorder.
Yeah, there you go.
I don't know. I mean, you don't know how many people tried it and never submitted because they didn't get anything.
Right.
So there could be a lot of negative results out there that you don't know about.
Right. And I think in the end, and Dave, you brought this up, there are no results, really. There's nothing. I mean, we had 2 guesses technically. They didn't follow the rules, so they don't really count, but they're still guesses. And they were both wrong. And I don't know what they were based on, because I didn't have a recording to refer to.
Technically, you have to throw those out, though.
Right. So
if you didn't follow the protocol or the rules, then they're out. So
yeah.
Well, it does end up, like you said, it does end up raising another question as to why it wasn't accepted as a challenge more.
Jen and I, when we had our active group and we were doing more research projects and things, not too dissimilar from this, we always looked for psychics to test or other people who thought they were communicating or doing certain things, and nobody ever wanted to go through a formal testing procedure.
Right. I think this makes me think it's and I don't know how much of a percentage it is, but it makes me think that many of these groups are in it just for the fun.
Oh, I think it's a huge percent.
They're not serious. They are not the scientific kind of people that they claim to be. They are a ghost hunting group that goes out for fun. Hey, JD.
Well, let's face it. I mean, this isn't like a hard science project you put together here.
Yeah.
All you got to do is sit down, record yourself, and do EVP sessions or ghost box or whatever the fuck you do. Talk to the flashlight and Morse code.
Which you're doing there anyway.
Yeah.
You're already doing it.
$500. I've pissed away more money on lottery tickets hoping to win. And it would have been free to enter yours and try to get $500. That's a huge return on the investment.
You know that they're there doing EVP sessions. Well, I can't say. You know that I'm going to say the majority of people there are doing EVP sessions anyway.
Right.
And I would probably guess that even people that didn't sign up probably were like, hey, by the way, can you tell me what that is and where it's at? Maybe we'll come back later. I mean, how hard would it be?
And that's it. It's an extra camera or even your phone. All you got to do is put your phone up and take video. And it's like an extra question or two. That's it. That I just don't, it can't be any easier to win money. And I think maybe that's it. Maybe they're not confident in themselves. Maybe they're not confident in their methods, or maybe it is because, a skeptic is promoting it and he's just going to find a way to debunk it anyway, which
I think you had people try it that never submitted because they didn't get anything.
Right.
I think so too.
Or they looked, they didn't find it, and why submit?
Right.
Right.
I mean,
so
I want to do this again. I want to do it again.
I would like to do it again. I would like to do it again. Maybe find a different location, or maybe either of you want to try it. Maybe we should run 3 at the same time.
I was just thinking.
But I think we want to.
It would suck though if we had to pay out $1,500 at the same time.
Well, if this one was any indication, I think we're good.
That's coming out of the Paracelebs budget up there.
Oh yeah. See, I had investors.
Mm-hmm.
There were 5 of us that went in on this, so that's always nice too. And when you can talk about it with colleagues that are in the same thing and say, hey, you know what, I want to do this, I want to try this, I'm going to offer some money, and when they're like, all right, yeah, I'm in. I mean, we could also do it. We could keep it light, and maybe offer like $150 or a $300 prize. That way it's not too much. Nice. Yeah. It's still nice. It's still free money. If it works for you the way that it's claimed to, and that's always been the idea. If you're going to tell me that ghosts are talking to you and they're answering your questions, then give them a question that will make a difference in your wallet.
Absolutely.
Make use of that shit. Man. Oh, what's this question? Let's see what we got here. We got a question. Kenny, did you make sure the spirits knew where you were hiding? So, yeah, I did mention that in the beginning. I did walk around the entire place, literally holding the item up and going, this is what it's called. This is where it's going to be hidden. I'm going to put it here. Ghost hunters come around, or anyone comes around saying they're looking for a hidden object, and they have little gadgets that they're trying to figure out where it is. Tell them where it is. Tell them it's this and it's here. And that was it. I walked around all the floors. I do have video somewhere, and I couldn't find it right now, but I had my phone on and taking video with a selfie stick of me walking around the entire mansion and just doing that. But I couldn't find it in time for the show. But I mean, that's what I did. So I made sure I did it. And then every time I went back, I checked to make sure the object was still there, because, that would have sucked if somebody did take it or if it was moved. Right. And then if I was there, happened to be there by myself, which I believe I was there twice. I had the place to myself for 2 times. I did the same thing. I walked around and said, hey, remember me? I did the hidden object thing. It's still here. It's still here. Please tell somebody where it is. And no, nothing. So I tried. I really did. So you want to, Tim? You want to open the envelope? You want to break the seal?
I'll break the seal.
Oh my goodness! So exciting! Even though I know what's inside.
Oh, good grief, Kenny! Damn it! You tape the edges.
I didn't want you cheating, bitch.
He's not showing us the bottom of the envelope where he cut it open 2 years ago.
Damn, Dave, you're too good. Put it in another envelope. And that one is sealed as well. I did not know that.
What is that? Let me show that.
The hidden object was another envelope.
There you go. It was double sealed.
I didn't know that.
An envelope with a note in it. You suck.
You should have put a little letter in here.
My finger.
Just a picture of your middle finger.
You should have put like a note in here saying, "Fucking Vickers, don't
go any further, Tim.
Don't go any further." Of course. Another one.
Another envelope.
Oh, we're trying out.
Really?
That's a security envelope. See, I mean, I was making sure that nobody could cheat. I mean, not that I think Tim would.
I was really hoping the 500 would be in here. Oh, look at that. This is good. Photo evidence. Hold on, I'll hold it up. Try to get it there. Can you see it?
Let me see here. Let me open the screen here. White Hill Mansion EVP. Target object, small glass pineapple. Location, main formal parlor, top shelf, left side in rear.
I would not have guessed a pineapple, Kenny.
Yeah.
And there you go.
There you go. So I have those images. I can put them up on screen.
Yeah.
So we can see them better. Let's see. Bring it up. Give me a second. I'm trying to. Oh, wait. I did have it up. I think. Did I? I don't know if I did or not. Nope, that's not it. Oh, there it is. Okay. Share screen, and that one. So this is the main parlor, and we are going to zoom in on that display case, top shelf on the left. There it is. So it's actually, you can see it sticking out behind this one right there.
Pineapple. Like somebody should have just gone, what the fuck's a pineapple doing in all the medicine bottles?
Looks like I'm going to win. It's a pineapple.
Well, I mean, I went through and made sure that there was nothing else that looked like it in there.
Right.
And I picked that up.
Enough. That's actually a good idea.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's pretty simple. Pineapple. I mean, that's pineapple. It's not something I hear all the time. And I figured, all right, if it's stuck in there, you can actually see my reflection there, taking a picture of it. I think that's it. Yep. There it is, held up.
Okay.
So that's the hidden object, and there it is. I mean, it's been sitting there in the same place for 4 years, and
so I wonder if we're going to get a submission now that was like, hey,
There's a pineapple.
we were there in 2020 and got pineapple.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, okay, all right. So I mean, what that revealed, that's pretty much it. I mean, aside from maybe doing it again at a different place, it was fun because, like I mentioned in the beginning, that I had taken several boxes in, and I mean, one of the boxes was like huge. It barely fit in the back of my car, and I mean, that was just to make it look, just in case, because I didn't trust anyone. I don't know. What if somebody, and not even being mean, that somebody would.
Apparently, you didn't even trust
I know.
3 of them.
So if somebody would have identified it and found it, what would you think?
I would be amazed. It would really shock me because the precautions that I took to make sure that nobody saw it, nobody knew. Like my wife didn't even know. I didn't tell her. She had no idea what the object was. I got it when she wasn't around.
I didn't know.
Yeah, I picked it up at a yard sale. You know, it was something I paid $25 for, and I was like, "Oh, this will make a good target. It's cheap. It's in my budget because my budget was really small at the time." Pun intended. But if somebody would have said, "Hey, we got this. It's a glass pineapple bottle, and we found it in this display cabinet, and we think this is the object." I think literally I'd be like,
I want to hear that. I want to hear that audio.
wow, I want to hear. Yeah, can I hear? I want to hear it because I wouldn't say anything until I was like, give me the video. You have to submit the video,
right,
so I can listen to it. And you know, because I want to see that's the other thing with the idea of getting the entire session, just in case somebody makes a comment that might reveal somehow they cheated, you know, and that's important. That's really important. I found when you get the entire recording of something, there's usually some kind of clue that tells you where they got the information from. So if this came up, and again, I took so many precautions. I was so paranoid with that. If somebody would have said, "This is what it is," I would have been amazed.
I wanted that to happen. Like, yeah. I hope people understand, like, the idea of these things isn't to like try to say nothing exists and it's impossible. But if you put really reasonable obstacles, or at least regulations, or if you just put reasonable things in front of it,
control,
it can make it
controls.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Shit. Hold on. I need another drink.
I know. I was like, what's the word for that? It's
still alcoholic. Oh, not me. You meant the other thing. Yes, if you put reasonable controls on it, that is exciting if it happens. Like, if that would have happened, I would imagine that all three of us would have somehow been there to try to do it ourselves over and over.
Right. Because that gives us, and this might sound corny, but it gives hope that there is something. Like, because right now my perception is that there is nothing. I'm willing to have it change, but it's got to be really something good, you know, really, really good. And something like that would make me consider, like, oh shit, maybe there is something to this.
Yep,
there's hope. It's a new hope. Star Wars reference. Get that? Slip that in there.
But it wouldn't prove there was a ghost that told them that.
No.
There's about 5 other explanations, even if you couldn't explain it naturally. I mean, parapsychologically, there could be a lot of other options.
It's still interesting.
Yeah, it's interesting. But that's the rub between, if you do get something, is it actually evidence of life after death, or is it something the living is doing or generating that creates it?
Still cool.
And it's still cool. Either way, it's cool. But yeah.
Again, that's still hope for us to, like, hey, now we have to look into this. Let's start crossing off boxes and seeing what it could or couldn't be. There's something worth studying here.
Yep.
And we go down the whole list of everything we did, all the precautions. Was there any? I mean, that's probably one of the first things I would do. Go down the list of everything that was done beforehand, and did I do something wrong? Did I mess this up? You know, did I let something leak? Then I would immediately go to Tim's house. I wouldn't call him. I would just go to his house and be like, "Did you fuck this up?"
He wouldn't tell me. All he said was, "I'm sending a sealed envelope to you with the contents of what it is. Don't open it and put it in a safe place." He didn't say, "Bitch, I'm going to put it in 3."
That's when you know you have friends. Like you get a message like, "I'm sending you something. Don't open it. Don't touch it. Don't think about it. Just put it away." And
Put
you're
it
like,
away.
"Okay,
All right, I got
all
you.
right." It's evidence for a trial that's going to come up. Trust me. But yeah, I was also go to Dawn, who was in charge of the other one. She had possession of the other envelope, and say, "Hey, like what? Let me see the envelope." Because again, like I did the same thing to her. She didn't know it was like that. She didn't know there was 2 other envelopes inside. No idea. So I would have checked everything, made sure it wasn't tampered with. And I mean, I tried everything too. I tried with spotlights to see if I could see through them. There's no way. It just wasn't happening. So that would lead me, I think, ultimately to, all right, there's something I need to study here. And that probably would become an obsession because I would need to know, how did this happen? And I would be spending a lot more time at White Hill Mansion because I'd be like, yeah, I need to know who did this. I'd be in there going, who did it? Which one of you? Who's here? Who did this? Tell me. But I mean, what thoughts on that? What do you guys think? Like
Be
overall,
interesting.
we're at the end. We're at 51 minutes, so we could probably start doing our wrap up. So Dave, why don't you do your thoughts and wrap up?
Okay. Yeah, you don't know how many people did it and got a negative result, never sent it in. So that you don't know. So in the future, it'd be great if anybody who tried it, somehow you could log it and get the data so you can see how many tried it and missed and didn't get it. The only other thing I would really think about changing with it is that you really should have a third party and maybe a listening panel to interpret the EVP and take you one step further from it, because it just, anytime you got the guy who controls the money who's going to make the decision if they got it or not, that, not that Kenny would cheat it or be biased, but that can come up. It will come up.
I
That's a good
did
point.
Absolutely come up.
I'm
They would
gonna.
say, that's the dude who had the money. He's controlling the money. He doesn't want to give it away. And, he'll find a way to say, no, that's not it. I mean, that can come up.
It was
That's
just to inject here. There was the 5 of us. So it says on the paperwork that comes with it that it's me, Tim, Jim, Underdown, Loretta, who was the person in charge, also Dawn, who was the VP at the time that had the other envelope. So there were 5 of us, and we all had to talk about it and come to a conclusion. So it wasn't just me.
Would they have listened to it independently to all come to an independent conclusion on if they heard that word, even though they found the object or not?
Submissions will be verified. I'm reading the adheres to the remaining rules. No tampering. All video submissions will be reviewed by a panel, so everyone would get a copy.
But I'm just saying, I'm throwing out the stuff that gets thrown at the parapsychologists when they do. Oh, they're fucking believers. You can't believe their results.
Right.
So flip that around and think, oh, it's a bunch of skeptics. They're holding the money. I would probably put a third party in there that distances you and the other people from the actual experiment.
I agree.
That's just one little tweak, but otherwise, I think it's a great idea. We should repeat it and keep going.
Wow, we should repeat it. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, I think we should each do it in our own little
I'm just
town.
disappointed more people didn't. If they did try, or if they didn't submit anything.
So I would like to put up that if you do attempt it, that you at least register with someone there, or send somehow the notification that you are going to attempt it on this day at this time. And with full understanding that you do not have to send us anything. Like if you don't have anything, we would like to have the failures, but you're not obligated. Yeah, you're not obligated for sending us anything. Just let us know you're trying it. And
have like
no obligation afterwards.
Like just a short just a line or two in like an intro. If you're welcoming a group to that place, and just say, you know, here's the rules and stuff, you know, don't make any damage, don't fuck up anything, this and that. Oh, by the way, we have this challenge. There's a cash prize. If you want to participate, here is a list, a sign up list right here. All you got to do is just put your name and email on it so that we know that you're trying it. And therefore, there you go. That's all you have to. That's the only obligation you would have. And then, if you want to submit, you can some footage. You can, or if you didn't get anything or you weren't confident in it, you don't have to. But at least we know who did it. That's good, Dave. Yeah, Tim. That's good. I like that. And you're right. I mean, there was 3 out of the 5 of us. There were 3 of us. Well, me, Jim Underdown, definitely skeptics. Tim, skeptical. But are you like more skeptical? What are you?
That's great. I love that.
I know. What are you? You're like neutral.
I'm Jedi.
Oh, okay. A gray Jedi. But
Gray
then you
Jedi.
had two members that were more believers, definitely more believers, but they were also on the committee for the place too. So that would probably be better if we didn't have anyone actually associated with the mansion or us.
Right, because not that they would. I'm not saying anybody would do anything,
Right.
but when you move into other situations, that if you have somebody supporting a place that's that's haunted and they're running it and they want that to happen, they want that to work.
Right.
It's just a way to distance any
you're
accusations at the end.
You're right.
I guess. Agree. Yeah, I like that. And to follow up for you, Kenny, I probably would follow more for paranormal like an agnostic. Like I really want to believe. Like I think that something not ghostly, but it might be personal driven. I just want to know what it is. But until then, we'll see.
All right. Got a question here. We could probably address it quick. Redman wants to know, how do you study the paranormal / ghosts?
I think what we're talking about is like one of the ways. It doesn't have to be like the whole topic of paranormal and ghosts has to be done in one big bite. Small little bites, probably just small little tests for me.
It really depends on the claim. Really, I mean, you can't do the same test for everything. Almost every claim has a different set of protocols or controls you would have to put on it, and nuances here and there where it's like, oh, okay, this little detail changes this, what we have to control here. So that's why whenever I investigate an actual location, I'm always looking for the claims. What are the claims coming out of here? And then what are the testable claims that I can actually do something about? I mean, if something's completely random, that's it. It's random by definition. I mean, if a shadow figure appears anywhere at any time, it's really hard to test for that, because I don't know what could be causing it or when it might show up or what. But if you have a specific time that a voice comes from this room at this 7:00 every single night, that's something you can claim, and that's an extreme version. There's everything in between there, but that's just an extreme example to give, where we can test that, and it really depends on the claim.
Yeah, I mean, pick up any academic parapsychology book, Introduction to Parapsychology by Irwin and Watt. Check that out. They talk about how you study these things, and it really depends what part or what subgroup of paranormal or life after death you want to study. You approach it differently. I mean, mediumship, reincarnation, near-death experiences, ghosts and hauntings. There's different ways you go about that. But if you're looking at ghosts and hauntings, one of the trends in the literature now is to look at the interaction between and understand what's going on between the person and the environment. So they think those two things, there has to be, specific. It almost, there's people that seem more prone to have experiences. And even though within those, some interpret them as paranormal and others don't. So now they're trying to understand what traits, what people have, what leads people to have those experiences and interpret them as paranormal. And then you got the people who study the environmental stuff. They study what's the effects of maybe electromagnetic fields, what infrasound, lighting, temperature. How do the contextual cues in a location kind of drive you to have this ambiguous experience, and then maybe form a specific story or refine your experience to say, oh, I was in an old Victorian home, saw a bunch of Victorian pictures. Yeah, I saw a ghost, a lady in a Victorian dress. So there's a lot of psychology now that they're looking at. They look at beliefs, psychology, environment together to see how people interact in the environment and how they respond to that.
I would also add that the first thing you want to do is get yourself a lab coat.
That's absolutely. Mine is hanging over here.
Because that makes you look professional, even if you're not.
Yes.
Show up wherever you're investigating a lab coat.
Yep.
You'll get in. They're not even going to question you.
And I've encouraged people before. Case studies are huge, to take a look at what people have looked at for real world experiences. Try to figure out what type of attributes and what they're telling you, and what time of day, and what kind of person, and where they're at, and what they see, feel, smell, hear. I mean, there's a lot of good stuff out there. You just need to dig into some of the more academic literature, and it's a little hard to get through, but it's good stuff.
Follow-up question. Would you think those who have more paranormal experiences tend to believe in paranormal?
Yes. There's a strong link, not only in people who already believe in it. It goes both ways, though. Experience leads to belief, and belief leads and reinforces experience. So it actually goes both ways. But yeah, that's a pretty common, strong link that they've found.
Yeah.
And then it's how they interpret it too. Then that starts getting deeper into the psychology of the person. How do I say, oh, it's just something strange by chance that happened, or you go, ooh, a ghost did that. And there's differences within how people process that, and understanding how they do that, and what led them to identify those things.
Good. All right. I think we're good for the night.
Yeah, we want to jump over and say hi to another podcaster that's probably starting. We didn't want to
step on
roll on
toes. So, I mean, we'll keep it short. Tim, you got anything going on?
Gettysburg Bash coming up.
That's right.
Number 100. This is why we're not missing one. So
That's
that
right.
we can make
Even
it.
when one of us fucks up the day and time, we still have a show.
We still got it. We still got it.
Dave, you got anything coming up?
Gettysburg Battlefield Bash. Looking forward to it.
Drink.
Cheers.
It's been a long week.
And I'm going to keep it short too. I'm just going to say, yes, Gettysburg Battlefield Bash coming out. Looking forward to it. If you guys can make it out, if anyone can make it out, come on out, because the three of us will be there. We're going to be hanging out the whole weekend and just having fun. So,
yeah.
All right. On that note, I am going to close us out, and we will see you next week.
Yep.
All right. See you later.
Happy 4th, everybody.
Happy
Take
4th.
care.
Stay safe.
Stay safe. Definitely.
Thank you.